The views, information, and opinions expressed during the following program are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent the views of Access Communications, its representatives, or its employees.
Everybody, I'll just turn this microphone on like I always do, and then we'll get started. Welcome to the regular Weyburn City Council meeting for Monday, December 8th. We got some folks in the gallery, which is exciting to see. So listen, we only meet once in December, so we've decided to have a double long meeting for that one. So it's like having two meetings, we're just gonna do them both in one night. We're gonna be here for a while, but we got lots of good work to do. First reading of our taxi bylaws tonight. We have a delegation, and most exciting of all, the 2026 budget will be on the table tonight. So let's get to work. If I could first, I'd like a motion, if I could, for the minutes from the last meeting.
Your Worship, I move that the minutes from the November 24th, 2025 regular council meeting and strategic planning and priorities meeting be approved.
Thank you. Can I get a seconder?
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Okay, thanks. Any additions to the agenda, omissions or changes, commentary on that agenda? Minutes, not agenda? Yeah, thanks, Councillor Janke. Hearing none, then I'll call the question. All in favor? That is carried. All right. Before we get started beyond that, we'll do the agenda. Any additions to the agenda? Anything administration?
Yeah, thanks, Your Worship. There's no additions from administration tonight.
Council? None. Very good. Thank you. I would like to acknowledge Youth Councillor Maurice Erasmus is with us tonight. If you have any questions, put your hand up, or we'll maybe throw questions at you. No, we won't, I promise. But thank you for being here. I'm always eager to see our Youth Council engaged in this and participating. So thanks for coming. Appreciate it very much. Okay. Let's keep going. Public hearings and notices. There will be a public hearing tonight. It is listed in 3C, but it will happen in item 9 later on tonight, for those of you that are following along at home. Next up then, delegations, proclamations, and petitions. We do have a proclamation tonight, which I will read, and then I think some folks are going to come up and address that. So, whereas this proclamation wishes to acknowledge the historical and ongoing contributions of Christian communities to our city and to Canada as a whole, particularly in the areas of education, healthcare, charitable work, and community service. And whereas December, as a season of reflection of goodwill, is a fitting time to celebrate the values of compassion, generosity, and peace that are central to Christian heritage and resonate across our whole community. And whereas the month of December marks significant events and celebrations in the Christian calendar, and from the beginning of Advent to the celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ. Therefore, through the authority vested in me by the City of Weyburn, I hereby proclaim the month of December 2025 as Christian Heritage Month in the City of Weyburn, Saskatchewan. This will be proclaimed today, this day, 8th of December 2025. Thank you very much. Now, I understand we have some guests, John Smith, Margaret Cugnett, and Tom Shook. If one of you would like to come up to the podium and speak to this, we'd be eager to hear from you.
Pretty fancy. Your Worship and Council, we're very pleased to be here to talk a little bit about Christian Heritage Month. This is being advocated by a grassroots movement throughout communities within Canada, and it's to recognize our Christian contributions and celebrate our historical and ongoing impact of Christianity. Communities in Canada, and there are many municipalities, the last count I've seen is over 30 within Canada, have adopted and proclaimed within their communities this Heritage Month. Our culture, our values, the fabric of our communities is based a lot on our Christian ethics. It aligns, as Jeff had mentioned, with Advent and Christmas. And some of you may know that there is actually a private member's bill in our federal government, C-369, to pursue national declaration. Our Christian population in Canada is over 19 million. And our mission statement is to acknowledge the significant impact of Christian communities on our history and values of compassion, service, and unity. For your information, the number of Christians in the 2021 census in Canada was 53.3%, 30% Catholic, and we have a wide variety of religious options within our country. Actually, last count, 121. In the late 1400s, Christianity was introduced to our country. Saskatchewan, we have 56.31%. And the background, many come from European countries, but we are seeing more come from Africa, the Philippines, and our Indigenous communities. And Tom will give you a little bit more history. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Your Worship and City Councillors, thank you so much for giving us an opportunity to speak to you this evening, and thank you for issuing the Declaration of Christian Heritage Month. In addition to the many contributions of Christianity to Canada, there are some that I would like to, one that I would like to emphasize because it's often overlooked, and that's the Christian family. The Christian family is one man and one woman joined together in marriage for life, and one of the purposes of marriage is for the procreation and protection of children, who are the next citizens of Canada and our future. Children are encouraged and supported to live chastely and purely with the help of God until they themselves are mature enough to raise a family of their own. Solid Christian families are what built and populated Canada. And at this point in time, Canada needs its Christian faith and its churches to install a love of God and Christian morality and Christian sexual morality and a desire to have children and a family life. Families give our youth a purpose for life, and families are the bedrock of our culture and country. As with any culture, so goes morality and sexual morality, so goes the family. And as the family goes, so goes the civilization, and so goes our country. Our country needs God, and it needs our churches. So, in conclusion, we hope that you all have a wonderful celebration of the birthday of Jesus Christ, and that, and once again, thank you very much, and Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Are you speaking as well, or is that everybody? Yeah. Do we want to get a picture? Yeah. Photo? Okay. Just over here in front of the flags. No, it's not. It's weird.
I'm so used to moving that I want to take a picture.
You stay far back. It looks like you've been helping the mayor with that. Do they? Yeah. Oh, here, we'll just do this. Yeah. Let's look this way first. I don't know. Thanks, you guys, very much. I do apologize. I forgot to mention that Councillor Corrigan was unable to be here tonight, so I apologize for missing that earlier. Okay, wow, let's keep going. What a busy meeting. Next up, we have a delegation. This is the Weyburn Young Fellows. You're on the agenda a couple of times tonight, so that's exciting. But tonight is your delegation. So it looks like it's going to be Chad Bailey and Ryan Bader and Warren Douglas speaking on behalf of the Young Fellows. No, sorry? No Warren.
No Warren, no.
Oh, that's Shane back there, right? Sorry. Okay. Go ahead, fellas. Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you for having us, Your Worship, Council. As you see, our proposal that was put into you, I believe every application form was filled out and everything. This is a big event, not only just for us, but for Weyburn. We did it a few years ago and had overwhelming success. We're looking to expand on that, maybe have a little bit bigger attendance and community, output as well. We're going to be actively searching for volunteers to assist us, as honestly it's just a lot of work that's us old fellas can't all do by ourselves. So, did you have questions on the events or anything?
So let's open that up first to council, then to administration. Council, any questions on the event? So just to be clear, the event is the Young Fellows Summer Concert,
Kick off
Thursday,
the
June
summer
25th.
with a huge thank you to shout out to Weyburn Tourism for supporting. It's June 25th, 2026. Jubilee Park.
Jubilee Park, yeah. So does anybody have questions of the Young Fellows? Yeah, Councillor Janke.
Thanks for being here tonight, gentlemen. As an associate member of the club, I probably know the answers to these, but rather than make up my own answers, I'm going to ask you anyway. Chad, you said you wanted to build on last event. What was the attendance of the last one, just ballpark?
Roughly around 26, 27, is that right?
It was about 3,200 after, when you included all the volunteers and everybody who got to participate in the event, it would have struck about 3,200 was the last count.
All right. And when you guys say there was lots of room in the area, like we could have accommodated a lot more?
We probably only used a third of the given space that's available for the sections that we had fenced off. So, we got bigger plans for food, VIP tents, stuff like that to expand on the project.
Try to spread it out a little bit more.
Yeah.
Right. 2 different stages as well.
Yeah.
And can anybody who wants to be a part of that reach out to you, or is there a process for that?
Actually, I'll be heading up the volunteer part. So if you're interested in volunteering, by all means, you can reach out to me at Chad Bailey at WeyburnYoungFellows.com.
Excellent.
That's all I got. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Councillor Morissette.
First of all, thank you so much for all the hard work you're putting into this. And thank you for holding it on a different weekend than grad, because I can actually attend both of them, which, and I'm looking forward to it. Is this a rain or shine event? And do you guys have contingency plans? Because we all love Mother Nature in June.
It is indeed a rain or shine event. We're planning on going forward irregardless. If it ends up being an extreme weather scenario where we are forced to, the club will just have insurance in place to deal with that eventuality. But
Stage is covered. Stage has a roof, so don't be going rain or shine. And we just, if weather permits or weather dictates, I guess, bring an umbrella.
as long as it's not a safety concern, come on out and have some fun.
That's right. Love it. Councillor Bador.
Just to be sure, tickets are on sale right now. And where would you get said tickets if they were available?
Tickets are indeed on sales. WeyburnYoungFellows.com would be the place to get them. They're all electronic and available online. Right now, it's early bird pricing at $45 an adult ticket. I believe it's 25 for a kid's ticket. So that is an incredible value, considering, I will just share that if you want to go see Tuke at Casino Regina, that's $53 plus fees and taxes just to see Tuke, and you don't get to see Brett Kissel for that.
An exceptional value, I think one could argue. So can you do the whole roster for us?
So the whole roster is, of course, Brett Kissel as our headliner. We've got Tuke coming in as well.
Sask
Steel.
And Switch.
Yeah.
Johners.
Oh,
and the
Johners. Our other main act is Johnner Brothers, for sure. Yeah.
So really, you're getting like 5 concerts free.
Like 5 concerts for a very reasonable price.
That's a pretty good price. I would, if there's nothing else, how about administration? Any comments or questions?
More for me, Your Worship. Appreciate your guys' work with our departments, so our parks, our leisure service department, and our plan development department are looking forward to working with you guys again at this event.
Awesome. I
know we've already had some initial meetings talking about sites and working with Richard and his team that way. I know there's a request here about food vendors as well. That'll be some work that you'll also do working with Shar within the plan development area that way.
Business licenses.
And all those things to have to discuss, but we look forward to working with you guys. This is a great community event for us in this community. It brings a lot of people, not just from here, but from the surrounding area. So we appreciate that work that you guys are doing, and we had a great time planning with you guys last time, so we'll look forward to doing that.
Yeah, we got lots of people from out of town reaching out already, so that's a good thing. We will be working in close connection with EMS, fire, and police service as well to make sure that they're all either involved or, play an active role somehow, or on scene for everybody too.
That's excellent. Thanks so much for your hard work, and thank administration too for working with the young fellows and making this come together.
Yes, and we would like to thank the city as well. The partnership is great. So
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, and thanks to your entire organization. Please relay that back.
Thank you.
How grateful the city is. Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, fellas. Right on. I can't wait for that. We're still working on getting the Friday to be a stat holiday, but we have not figured out how to do it yet, but we'll, I hope everybody does. Yeah, we'll try to figure that out. Okay, let's move on. Item 5 is reports of standing committees. This is always an opportunity for any councillors who sit on committees outside of, we all sit on committees, but if there's any committees you'd like to give a brief report on for the public or for administration, this will be your opportunity. Councillor Bador.
I just want to let everybody know that the Weyburn Ag Society AGM is coming up here in January. Don't have the date on me right now, but if you want to get involved with that great organization, please reach out to them, and there's some open board spots there.
Excellent. Thank you. Councillor Sidlowski.
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. We held our first Youth Council meeting last month. We grew from 5 members to 7 members after an increase in interest in it, and we have a very excited and eager group, so I'm really looking forward to this year.
Awesome. That is great. Thanks so much. Thanks again for your work. If that's everything, we'll move on. Anybody else? Oh, all right. Let's get on to the consent agenda. If I could get a motion, that is the building report, public works report, fire chief's report, water treatment plant report. If I could get a motion to get that on the floor.
Your Worship, I'll move the following reports on the consent agenda be accepted. The building report for November, public works report for November, fire chief's report for October and November, and the water treatment plant report for November.
Thank you. And a seconder?
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Sidlowski. All right, so we have 5 items there. Is there any conversation or anything anybody wants to pull off the consent agenda to have a deeper conversation on? No? All right, then we'll call the question. All in favor? That is carried. As always, those reports are available on the city website. The city clerk will get them up right after the meeting, and everything's available for viewing. The only thing I would comment on is I did want to thank our fire department and public works for all of the work putting the Christmas decorations up on the downtown core. Just looks great, so thanks so much for that. All right, we go on now to accounts payable. That's listed there. If I could get a motion, please. Well, we're not paying any bills. Okay.
I guess not. Your Worship, I'd move that the purchases from November 1st, 2025 to November 30th, 2025 in the amount of $1,841,933.10 be approved for payment. The purchases include accounts payable, $1,365,884.70. Direct withdrawals of $474,643.11, and debit card transactions of $1,805.29.
Thank you. A seconder?
Your Worship, I would second that motion.
Thank you. All right, any questions for the Director of Finance or the City Manager on this? Everybody's pretty comfortable with that? Okay. Hearing none, then I'll call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much. Okay, next up, back to the Young Fellows Club, but you guys don't have to get up this time. You don't have to, I'm just kidding, Chad. This will be the special occasion permit, and we'll have the Director of Leisure Services speak to it, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Special occasion liquor permits are required by Saskatchewan Liquor and Gaming Authority for selling and serving alcohol that is not held in a commercially permitted establishment. Written municipal approval must be submitted respecting all outdoor functions. Special outdoor application attached has been submitted by the Young Fellows Club of Weyburn for an outdoor concert in Jubilee Park on Thursday, June 25th of 2026. The application outlines the following plans. The event will include many local food and snack vendors. The event will include the sale of alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages. The gates will open at 3 p.m. with bands starting at 4 p.m., the last band ending at 11:30 p.m. and ending the night with a fireworks show. The park area will be fenced and will have hired professional security for the evening. We request the park area from Tuesday, June 23rd, to start setup, and will tear down on Friday, June 26, 2026. The Leisure Services Department has reviewed the application and confirmed that all required documentation has been submitted. No concerns were identified during the review process. We recommend the Council provide approval for the Young Fellows Club of Weyburn to make an application to the Saskatchewan Liquor and Gaming Authority to sell alcohol during their event held outdoors at the Jubilee Park grounds on June 25th, 2026 from 3 p.m. to 12:30 a.m.
Thank you very much. Can I get a motion, please?
Your Worship, I'm pleased to move that Council provide approval to the Young Fellows Club of Weyburn to make application to SLGA to sell alcohol during their event held outdoors at Jubilee Park on June 25th, 2025.
Right.
2026.
Yes.
It says 25 here. I think it's supposed to be 26.
It is, for sure.
I will second that, Your Worship.
Thank you. Oh, yes, Councilor Bedore.
Your Worship, I'll have to declare a conflict as I'm an active member of the Young Fellows.
Very good. Thank you, Councilor Bedore. Okay, any questions either for, I guess the Young Fellows are here, but for, I would say primarily the Director of Leisure Services, Councilor Higgs.
In regards to the time, the duration in which it runs till, and this is liquor, but is there any issue with noise bylaws or anything like that, or is that coming at a later date?
I'll answer that, Councillor Higgs. The request is to go further on for that. It does go against the noise bylaw, but for events like this, usually when you do the permission for this, you're also saying you're okay with that.
And I certainly am. I'm just.
There's no separate request needed. We kind of just do that all in one.
Okay.
And usually when you do go past that 11 p.m., which is the end, within that, you're kind of accepting when you do that way as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for that clarification. Councilor Morissette.
Thank you, Your Worship. And it's actually a question for the Young Fellows. You guys have always done a fantastic job about getting people home safely. Will you be providing safe rides home or working with an organization to make sure that people aren't drinking and driving?
I don't believe we are for the in-town events. We'll just kind of rely on local businesses that supply that kind of service to run that. So,
thank you. Anybody else? No? Okay, I think we have a motion on the floor, so I don't know what that was either, but yeah. Okay, we'll call the question then. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much. Thank you, Councillor Higgs. All right. A little bit more business next up. We'll wait for Councilor Bedore to get settled, but next up will be the request for some additional funding for police, and we will have the city clerk present that, but Deputy Chief St. John is here to answer questions, should there be any.
On November 24th, 2025, the Weyburn Police Commission passed a motion requesting financial support for the implementation of a new bylaw online reporting and e-ticketing program. This initiative aims to modernize the overall bylaw reporting and enforcement process with online reporting, electronic ticketing, online payments, and enhanced record management. The motion approved by the Commission states that the Police Commission requests up to $10,000 from Council for a new bylaw e-ticketing system. The estimated cost includes software licensing, integration with existing systems, and staff training. So the recommendation is that council approves up to $10,000 for a new bylaw e-ticketing program as requested by the Weyburn Police Commission.
Thank you very much. If we have a motion for that one, please.
Your Worship, I'm happy to make the motion that council approves up to $10,000 for a new bylaw e-ticketing program as requested by the Weyburn Police Commission.
Your Worship, I will second that motion.
Thanks, Councillor Janke. So a couple things. Questions we will direct at the Deputy Chief. The reason that the clerk presents this is because the City Clerk is also a sworn member of the Police Commission and she is the Board Secretary. So she would do this administrative work on behalf of the Board. Any questions, though, about the specifics of this initiative? Councillor Sedlowski.
Thank you for joining us. As I understand, there's other municipalities that use this program already and they haven't had any problems. They're happy with how things function?
Yeah, really happy. It actually speeds things up a lot, you know, so you're not as in the office. The bylaw enforcement could be out enforcing a lot more than the way we're doing it now. Just to add a little bit too, because you need a laptop in that system. That laptop was already going in the vehicle from with the NG 911. That vehicle would need a laptop as well, so that's included with not in this cost. That's not an extra cost to us at all. That was getting installed in that vehicle anyway, so that's a plus.
Excellent. Thanks for that clarity. Councillor Higgs?
Yeah, I too am very excited about this. I think it's certainly the right direction. Do you have any idea of annual subscription rates, or is it sort of a one-and-done fee?
There's an annual fee around $2,500, but I think it'll more than pay for itself just with the time savings.
Excellent. There's no more. Oh, Councillor Janke. Yes, sorry.
Chief, just in general, what is the benefit for the average citizen in having this? I'm all for it in terms of saving police time, absolutely, office time, that kind of thing, but what can like an average citizen expect to see different than what we did before?
Right now, say you get a bylaw ticket. It's a big SOPA written out. Having to pay, it's a little confusing right now too. You can't really go online and pay. You come down to the office. It's just the way it's set up now is very archaic, so it just streamlines it even for the average citizen. If they received a ticket, it's a lot more explanatory than the way it is now.
Sure, that makes a lot of sense. That sounds easier. Second question, you commented about laptops. Is it fair to say that this might put us one step or a half step closer to the goal for NG 911? So
it's a lot closer, yes. Okay. Yeah. We're really speeding our way towards that now.
Perfect. Thank you, Chief. Yeah.
Anybody else? Administration, any questions? No? Thanks for answering those questions, and thank you for the preparation of the document. With that, we'll call the question. All in favor? That's carried unanimously. Thank you. Okay. On now to, Board of Revisions for next year, and we will have the Director of Finance present this one, please.
Thank you. The City of Weyburn appoints a third-party Board of Revisions, the BOR, and Development Appeals Board, the DAB, each year. The BOR's duties are outlined in the Assessment Appeals Manual, and property owners have the right to appeal their SAMA assessment property value to the BOR. Appeal forms are sent directly to the board, and the secretary to the board informs the property owner if their appeal is in good standing and approved. Upon approval, a meeting is set up with the property owner, SAMA, and the BOR to hear the reasons for the appeal. The BOR then determines how to process the appeal based on the facts presented by the property owner and SAMA. The duties of the Development Appeals Board are outlined in the Development Appeals Board Guide. The DAB adjudicates appeals relating to matters under the Planning and Development Act 2007, P&D Act, including but not limited to development permits, minor variances, subdivisions, development levies, servicing agreements, and demolition control districts. The city is required to appoint a DAB pursuant to the Planning and Development Act and the city's zoning bylaw. The City of Weyburn has contracted Western Municipal Consulting Limited, WMC, as our BOR and DAB since 2022. WMC has provided the attached schedule of fees and listed the members for 2026. Fees have increased for the upcoming year. Annual subscription rates have increased by $100 per board, and staffing rates have increased by $5 for the secretary and $35 for the senior consultant, and $10 for the board members. This is the first increase that we've seen since our engagement with them that began in 2022. I recommend that the City of Weyburn retains and appoints Western Municipal Consulting Limited as the Board of Revisions and Development Appeals Board for 2026.
Okay, thank you, Director Massal. So we have 4 things we have to do. So I think let's do the Board of Revision first, then the secretary to that board second. So if we could get a motion for that, please. So you should, yeah, 201?
268.
Let's look first for the motion for the Board of Revision for 2026. That might be, my numbers could be wrong, Councilor Bedore.
Okay, I apologize. I am first. Your Worship, I will make the motion that pursuant to subsection 192(1) of the Cities Act, the City of Weyburn appoints Western Municipal Consulting Limited to manage the Board of Revision process for the term of January 11th, 2026 through to December 31st, 2026. Remuneration is set out in the Western Municipal Consulting Limited fee schedule with the following people to serve as members of the Board of Revision: Dave Guernsey, Dave Thompson, Donna Ray Zavorny, Gordon Parkinson, Jeff Hutton, Kevin Kleckner, Mike Wasik, Stu Demmons, Wayne Adams, Ken Friesian, Femi Ogunrind, Fife Ogund, Maureen Jickling, Jamie Thiessen, John Krill, Christopher Blumen, Alan Sawatsky, Mike Maleka, Henny Amin, Kimberly Spears, Nick Korluck, Farah Ovens, J.D. Mazer, Jordan Boys, Kenneth Tan, Tyler Chandro, Regan Rayner, and Rick Lee. The chair shall be responsible for naming no fewer than 3 members of any hearing for the hearing of any matter where the chair does not include themselves among the appointees. The members appointed for a hearing shall determine the chair for the hearing among their members.
Your Worship, I would like to emphatically second that motion that was read so well that we don't even need to make a joke about asking to do it again.
No, I would agree. I would agree. All right, so I would suggest this is where the bulk of our conversation will happen. Does everybody, or does anybody have questions about this and what we're doing and why we're doing it, who we're doing it with? Councillor Higgs?
So we're required to have this as, just wanted to make that clear for the public.
Yes, we are.
Thank you. Anybody else? No? Okay, no more questions, then I will call the question. This is the appointment of the 2026 Board of Revision. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much. Now we will appoint a secretary for the Board of Revision.
Your Worship, I move that pursuant to subsection 193, Part 1 of the Cities Act, the City of Weyburn appoints Nicole Hoskins with Western Municipal Consulting Limited as the Secretary of the Board of Revision for the term of January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2026. Remuneration set out as in Western Municipal Consulting Limited's fee schedule. If the Secretary is unable to perform secretarial functions for reasons which may include scheduling difficulties, WMC may appoint a delegate to perform administrative functions and may appoint a recording secretary for the purposes of any hearing.
Thank you. And a seconder?
I'll second that one, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Morissette. Any questions or commentary on this? No? Hearing none, then we'll call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. All right, next up, the appointment of the Development Appeals Board, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. I move that pursuant to subsection 2141, of the Planning and Development Act 2007, the City of Weyburn appoints Western Municipal Consulting Limited to manage the Development Appeals Board process for the term of January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2026. Remuneration is set out in Western Municipal Consulting Limited fee schedule with the following to serve as members of the Development Appeals Board as presented. The chair shall be responsible for naming fewer than 3 members for the hearing of any matter. Where the chair does not include themselves among the appointees, the members appointed for a hearing shall determine the chair of that hearing from among their members.
Thanks, Councillor Sadlowski. We have a seconder.
Your Worship, I will second
Thank you
Councillor
very
Sadlowski's
much.
motion.
Okay, any questions for the Director of Finance, or I suppose anybody on that one? Hearing none, then I'll call the question. All in favor? That is carried. And then if we could appoint a secretary for the Development Appeals Board.
Your Worship, I move that pursuant to subsection 216(3)A of the Planning and Development Act 2007, the City of Weyburn appoints Claudette McGuire with Western Municipal Consulting Limited as Secretary to the Development Appeals Board for the term of January 1st, 2026 through to December 31st, 2026. Remuneration is set out in the Western Municipal Consulting Fee Schedule. If the Secretary is unable to perform secretarial functions for any reasons, which may include scheduling difficulties, WMC may appoint a delegate to perform administrative functions and may appoint a recording secretary for the purposes of any hearing.
Thank you.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Thanks, Councillor Higgs. All right, any questions on this one? Last minute thoughts? No? Hearing none, then I'll call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much. That's a lot of motions to do that business, but it's important. We have to have that in place, so we are set for the year. All right. That's the end of page one. No, I'm just kidding. We're making good progress here. Next up is the introduction of bylaws. So the bylaw being introduced tonight is a City of Weyburn taxi bylaw. We got a couple of folks available to speak to that, but we'll ask the city clerk to introduce it, please.
Administration has identified the need for a taxi bylaw to regulate and license taxis, taxi operators, and taxi companies within the City of Weyburn. This initiative aims to enhance public safety, ensure accountability, and provide clear standards for the taxi industry. Earlier this year, we met with a local taxi company operating in Weyburn, which expressed strong support for implementing a taxi bylaw. Both the Weyburn Police Service and the city's bylaw enforcement officer have reviewed the proposed framework and agreed that this bylaw is necessary to ensure safe, reliable, and fair taxi services for residents and visitors. The proposed taxi bylaw includes the following key provisions. Licensing requirements. So all taxi companies and operators must obtain valid licenses from the city and Weyburn Police Service. Vehicle standards, annual safety inspections and compliance with SGI light vehicle inspection requirements. Insurance, mandatory liability insurance for all taxis. Fare regulation, a taxi meter use is required. Fares are set at $5.50 base rate plus 25 cents per 100 meters with waiting time at 65 cents per minute. Driver qualifications. Criminal record and vulnerable sector checks, valid Class 4 approved Class 5 license, and certificate of police approval. Operational rules, display of licenses and fare decals, maintenance of trip records, prohibition of smoking, alcohol, drugs, and adherence to shortest practicable route. Enforcement, penalties for noncompliance ranging from $250 to $10,000 for individuals and up to $25,000 for corporations. Licenses may be suspended or revoked for violations. This bylaw is designed to protect passengers and provide enforcement tools for Weyburn Police Services and for a bylaw enforcement officer. I would recommend that Council gives first reading to bylaw 2025-3504, the taxi bylaw, tonight.
Thank you. Let's get a motion on the floor and get this introduced first, and then we'll open up to questions.
Thank you, Worship. I move that Council give first reading to bylaw 2025-3504, the taxi bylaw.
Thank you.
I will second that motion.
Thank you. All right, questions. Deputy Chief St. John is here as well. So Weyburn City Police, City Clerk have worked pretty close, very close on this to bring it to us. It's been a bit of a journey. So I would open it up to questions. Councillor Higgs.
If you want, I can sort of make some comments on why this is important. Councillor Higgs had some excellent questions for me, so I prepared something and I spoke with him today, and I think it just helps everybody.
Sure.
And before I start, our city clerk, Tina, did a really, really good job, lots of work on this, so it's excellent the work she does, and you guys are really lucky, we all are, to have her. So thanks, Tina. Thanks. Some of the things that this is for, public safety, passenger protection. I have more details in that, but that's really key, is you want to feel safe if you put your 10-year-old or an elderly parent in a cab, you know, with to go to the grocery store, or go to the doctor appointment. You want to know, you want to make sure that it's safe for them to go in that cab. Legal authority for enforcement, it gives us something there to enforce. Right now, there really isn't much there besides the business license. There is a small fine you get from SGI, but it's not a deterrent at all to have people that aren't safe taking people to appointments. Consumer protection and fair pricing with an improved fare structure and use of meters and the driver ID with rates. It prevents price gouging and fraud. Dispute over fares, so there wouldn't be any of that because you actually have a meter reading, which is important. I think that's sort of really key. Driver and industry accountability, standards of conduct, rules for refusing fares, duty to assist vulnerable passengers, conditions for suspension or discipline. So it lays it out if they're not complying, what needs to be done. This ensures professional behavior, predictable service standards, fair competition among the operators. For the city, civil liability and city risk management. For the municipal perspective, reduces the city's exposure to lawsuits, ensures operators carry adequate commercial liability insurance, demonstrates that the city took reasonable steps to regulate a known public risk industry. So just, like, again, safe for everybody. Support for police operations from our standpoint, it helps verify legitimate drivers quickly, prevents use of taxis for criminal activity under false identity, assists investigations. So if there is a sexual assault, robberies, missing persons, the list can go on and on. It just, we know who's transporting who. Public confidence, community trust. When the taxis are regulated, the public knows drivers are vetted, vehicles are inspected, complaints are taken serious, and there's real consequences for misconduct. That directly increases trust in both the taxi industry and the community at large. In plain terms, the taxi bylaw exists because taxis are not just a business, they're a public safety service operating in close contact with the public, often late at night, transporting vulnerable people. Regulation is essential to keep everyone safe and legally protected. I know Councillor Heggs was worried it'd put more burden on us, but we're more than willing to take that on because we think this is a very important thing to go ahead with.
Thank you.
Any questions for me?
Thank you.
Yep.
Questions? We'll start over here. Councillor Morissette.
Thank you, Worship. Two things, if you're okay with that, Your Worship. First of all, are these taxis going to have to display something saying that, yes, they are a registered taxi? So basically, if you're putting your kid in and you don't see a sticker or something, you know, obviously don't put your kid in there and try and find somebody else?
Yeah, there'll be a placard on the window.
Sure.
Yeah.
And nobody is going to be, like, grandfathered in. This is going to...
Well, I think we had to give taxis some time to comply with this because this is a huge change, right? And we do have 3, I think, businesses in town right now with business licenses. I think, of course, we'd be more than willing to work with them to give them time to get up to speed.
But it doesn't matter whether they've been operating for 20 years or 2 years, everybody's going to have to follow the same rules.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good questions. Thank you. Councillor Sadlowski.
We are, of other municipalities our size, we are one of the last to have this type of bylaw in place. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yep, thanks. We're here.
I'd like to start off by thanking Deputy Chief for his work, Tina, and bylaw enforcement, I think, was huge in this as well. So really, I don't have any questions for the deputy. I actually have one for council, and that's in section 9 of that. It discusses number of taxis. The city shall have the authority and the sole discretion to limit the number of taxis that may operate within the city. It just sort of goes against my entrepreneurial thought process that I get to decide what business. I don't build your business plan. You do. So if you decide you want to have a business, you should have it.
That's a good comment. Does anybody want to comment on that question to council? Councillor Janke.
Your Worship, I tend to agree with Councillor Higgs on this. That said, is this something that we would need to go back to the drawing board for, or is it something we could consider in a future amendment at such a time when we have enough taxis that it becomes an issue? Like, I agree that we shouldn't be stipulating that, but it seems like if it came up, it'd be a pretty good problem to have, too.
Yeah, that's fair. I think just a couple of comments on that. It says the city shall have the authority. It doesn't say that the city necessarily will exercise it. Secondly, I think, we are only doing first reading tonight, so if we wanted to make some changes to this draft, between now and the next meeting would be the time to do that. So that would be a change. Now, I think if I remember correctly, I just want to finish up the thought on that because it's a very good point. I think when the clerk looked at the other cities, this clause was pretty common in all of the cities. Now, that's not to say that it is an antiquated language, but it's not, it's quite common language. Is that fair to say?
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah. So I would suggest that between now and the next meeting, if we wanted to have a conversation about removing that, we could do that. Yeah.
Okay, I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah.
I guess what I should have said, is there any concern on your perspective? That would might change my output or my commentary.
No, I think that would, the way I see that, it's just sort of up to City Council. Say someone comes in, they would present to you their business plan and why they want to open up more cabs in the city. And then, yeah, it doesn't say you don't have to let them.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks. Any other questions or comments? Councillor Bador.
I'm not sure who to direct this to, but fee structure, how do we figure that out? I guess we have the fee structure there, but like in the future, how does that get calculated if costs go up?
I guess that would just be something we'd have to monitor. And so this fee structure, when you look at like the taxi meters, that was taken from other cities, from their bylaws. But if we wanted to open up the bylaw and make amendments to that down the road, we can certainly do that. Yeah.
And I had a little thought on that. I think it's really important to have that base fee, right? Because then you're not going to have someone come in and just undercut everybody, and then the good businesses lose, and they're gone, and then you lose a really good business, So I think that low fee is really important, not the low, but the base fee, and then maybe that's a discussion you have. They decide what their rates are going for just competition.
So just to be clear, that is the minimum fee they can charge. They can charge anything. We're not telling them they can charge this much and this much only. There's a minimum fee, and then they can go above that if they.
Just for clarity, that is Schedule E you're talking about, right?
Yeah. And the other one I just wanted to chat about was, is there a significant capital cost to adding a meter? And is that on, I assume that's on the operator?
There's so many options now. I actually looked into that. Most of them are apps. Then you have your handheld device, not in your hand, but we're stationary, and the meter just runs off an app.
Using GPS, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yep. Perfect. Okay. Who knew? Councillor Higgs, you get your hand up?
Yeah, if I may, one more. What about out-of-town cab companies that come to town to pick people up? Particularly the rail line is the one that I think of.
The ones out of Regina will be on the bylaw already.
I guess they got their system.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, anybody else? A couple of, I just wanted to make one other point. Deputy Chief said the cab will have a record of who they're taking where. Close. They won't record who's in the cab. They will record, I picked up at 7:45 at this address and I dropped off at 7:55 at this address. And in your line of work, that would be very helpful.
That is correct, yeah.
Thank you very much for that. Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. And I want to acknowledge the work that everybody's put into this, both the clerk and you folks at the Weyburn Police Service. This is a lot of work. We need to have it. Any last comments before I call the vote? Okay, hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor? That is carried unanimously, so thank you very much. We will bring this back to the January 13th meeting for second reading. So if there's questions, comments, whether from the public or council, the police service, city clerk, anybody. We'll make those in between now and then. We'll have then an opportunity to have that discussion in about a month. Okay, good. Thank you. Let's keep going. We got lots of work to do yet. Unfinished business. This is, we started this one at the last meeting. We are bringing back bylaw 2025-3507, the amendment to the Queen Street access closure, and we'll look to the Director of Engineering for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. On January 17th, 2024, Council gave third reading and passed bylaw 2024-3490, being a bylaw to authorize the closure of a portion of Queen Street, legally described as ORA 56-08-14-2 Extension 0, with the location of the closure between Highway 39 and Regina Avenue. ISC recently issued a request to change the name of the strip of parcel we closed from PB4 to MB1, as it was determined it was no longer an acceptable identifier. All subdivision plans had to be resubmitted as well. After Council gave first reading to bylaw 2025-3507, being a bylaw to amend bylaw 2024-3490, which authorized the closure of a portion of Queen Street, at the November 24th, 2025 regular council meeting, public notices went out in accordance with the city's public notice policy. Notices were advertised in the November 26th and December 3rd, 2025 editions of the Weyburn Review, posted at City Hall and on the city website. No responses were received. I recommend that Council give second and third readings to bylaw 2025-3507, being a bylaw to amend bylaw 2024-3490, which authorized the closure of a portion of Queen Street, legally described as ORA 56-08-14-2 Extension 0, and Street Lane 3 Plan 71R18860, parcel 2041-71870, with the location of the closure between Highway 39 and Regina Avenue.
Thank you, Director Cugnet. Okay, so before we proceed with second and third reading, now I will advise that the public hearing for bylaw 2025-3507 is declared open. So if anybody would like to come up and speak to this bylaw, I would ask you to do that at this time. And don't all rush up at one time either, please. Orderly fashion. I do it. So I will just do one last call for submissions, and then the public hearing will be closed. Been a long time since I called last call. All right. I will declare those that public hearing closed, and then I will ask for a motion for the second reading. Councillor Janke, I knew you were itching to do this one.
I will do my very best to proceed, despite my astonishment that no one appeared to speak to this at the public hearing, and Renee received no feedback on this. I move that Council give second reading to bylaw 2025-3507, being the Queen Street Access Closure Amendment Bylaw.
Thank you. And a seconder?
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Morissette. Any commentary or question from Council on this? Hearing none, then I will call the question. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you very much. And final reading.
Your Worship, I move that Council gives third reading and passes bylaw 2025-3507, being the Queen Street Access Closure Amendment Bylaw.
Thank you.
I will also second that, Your Worship.
Thank you. Last chance for questions for Director Cugnet on this one. Hearing none, then I will call the question. All in favor? That is carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Okay. We continue on now to new business. This is a portable sign application from AdGuys. We will look to Planning and Development Coordinator Malcolm for this, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. So an application from Mohammed Khan of the AdGuys for the placement of 5 portable signs on lands adjacent to McDonald's along Highway 39 coming from Regina, as well as lands along Highway 13. The signs will be standard, non-LED, single-sided portable signs or portable billboards. Ad Guys are now requesting a change in location for their portable signs along Highway 39. The submitted application from Mohammed Khan is the placement of 4 standard LED signs on city property along Highway 39 in the vicinity of McDonald's, and 1 additional sign on city property along Highway 13, close to the intersection of Highway 13 and 16th Street, for the expansion of his business. The sign will be 2.4 meters wide, or 8 feet, and 1.2 meters long, or 4 feet, and have a surface area of 2.88 square meters, or 31 square feet. The proposed signs will no longer comply with the regulations outlined in the City of Weyburn Portable Sign Bylaw number 2024-3489 with relation to placement and setback requirements. Proposed signs will be too close in distance, and setbacks from Highway 39 will be minimal. Signs will also be within the CPKC rail boundary, as well as within the City of Weyburn drainage channel. So, council options. Option 1, approve the application for replacement of 5 portable signs on lands along Highway 39 and Highway 13 without further conditions. Option 2, approve the application for the placement of 5 portable signs on lands along Highway 39 and Highway 13, subject to the following conditions. Placement must maintain a minimum setback of 10 meters from the edge of the highway right-of-way. Signs must be freestanding, portable, and professionally constructed. The signs may only be displayed for the period authorized by the permit. The signs must be removed immediately upon expiration of the permit or at the request of the city. The signs must only advertise the approved business identified in the application, and the signs must have affixed the contact information, including the owner's name and phone number to a visible location on the sign. Option 3, council direct the development officer to refuse the application. The councillor making the motion for refusal shall provide reasons for the permit's refusal in their motion. So recommendation, staff is recommending option 3, as the city's portable sign bylaws intent is to limit proliferation of portable signs and maintain a balance between business needs and public safety. Allowing additional signs contradicts this objective. The city encourages the applicants to explore private property placement within permitted zoning areas.
Thank you, Coordinator Malcolm. Would a motion, please?
Your Worship, I'll make the motion that Council directs the Planning and Development Coordinator to refuse the application 2025.018 as the proposed signs no longer comply with the regulations outlined in the city's portable sign bylaw 2024-3489 with relation to placement and setback requirements.
Thank you. And a seconder?
Your Worship, I will second that motion.
Thank you. All right, questions, comments on this? Yeah, Councillor Baddour?
So we're saying no because we don't want a whole bunch more signs in town? Is that the biggest thing? And is this something that we can say no from this point forward so we don't have to take any more applications? Or is this, we have to deal with each one as they come?
So yeah, we are at our limit now in terms of portable signs along Highway 39, especially in that area, because they do require a minimum setback from each sign. And even if we were to refuse the application on an administrative level, it still has to come to council because the request was made. Yeah.
Thanks for the clarity on that. Anybody else? It sounds like everybody's pretty comfortable with this decision, I think. So call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much. Okay, next up is a request to purchase land on Morgan Street. Back to Planning and Development Coordinator Malcolm. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So the city received an application to purchase land from Laura Ressler to purchase 310 Morgan Street for the price of $840 plus GST for a total of $822. The lot is not serviced and zoned residential semi-detached or R2. Rezoning would not be necessary. The intention of the purchase is to build a small detached dwelling unit which would consider the size of the lot. The city sells commercial bare land at $12,000 plus taxes per acre. This land, although is bare land, it measures approximately 0.07 acres. And this is just the location of it. So the sale will be contingent upon the following conditions. 1, the dwelling unit must be completed within 2 years of the date the building permit is issued. The dwelling unit must be single detached dwelling and be finished graded in the front yard and have a finished hard surface driveway. Off-site development levies for single-family residential dwellings, which are less than an acre, are calculated at $6,768.19 per new site and are separate from the purchase price. Development levies would apply to this property. So council options. Option 1, approve the sale of 310 Morgan Street for the total price of $7,615.19, which includes the purchase price offered and off-site development levies, including the listed conditions mentioned. Option 2, provide a counteroffer for the sale of 310 Morgan Street to Laura Ressler, who offered an initial purchase price of $840 plus GST, also with the conditions listed above. Option 3, deny the sale of 310 Morgan Street to Laura Ressler. The reason for refusal would have to be provided by the person making the motion. So recommendation that council approves option 1 to approve the sale of 310 Morgan Street for a total price of $7,615.19, which includes the purchase price offered and the off-site development levies, including the listed conditions.
Thank you. All right, we have a motion for this.
Your Worship, I move the council approve option number 1 to approve the sale of 310 Morgan Street for the total price of $7,615.19, and that includes the purchase price offered and the off-site development levies with listed conditions.
Thank you. Seconder? I'll second that, Your Worship. Thank you. Questions, comments on this one? Councillor Morissette.
Thank you, Your Worship. Coordinator Malcolm, I just want to thank you for listing the condition that they needed, that hard surface driveway on there. I know Morgan Street is a very tiny street, so off-street parking would make things very, very difficult, especially during Red Wing games. So thank you for listing that condition.
Thank you. Anybody else? Questions? Councillor Bador?
Was this land just in city inventory and never been built on, or has it?
Yeah, so it has been in our inventory for several decades and has never been serviced, never been built on.
That's it? Excellent. Sorry, you're good? All right, call the question then. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much. Okay, we have got one agenda item left, and it's a small one. It is the 2026 City of Weyburn budget. We'll look to the Director of Finance for the presentation. Questions can be asked, of course, of any of the administrative team. If you would, please.
All right. So I'll start on this slide. So we did have an open house on November 4th and 6th that was available to the public and their opportunity to ask questions and discuss with council our preliminary budget. So we still have a balanced approach to our budget, as was indicated in our preliminary. The city budget is split out into our general operating and our utility and landfill funds. I've provided the comparison to other cities with the WOWA.ca. This is actually the same as last year's because the 2025 numbers weren't available. So it shows that where Weyburn is in comparison to other cities within Saskatchewan. Some of the calculations, like Regina, when we calculated it out, it calculated to 5,681, whereas the site calculated to 5,943. This was on properties that were 500,000 in assessed value. And Estevan's website calculated to 6,392, but on the WOA website, it was 6,905. So in 2024, the City of Weyburn calculated out to 4,238. But the WOA website actually calculated to 4,088, so we were just slightly higher. And I think the reason that some of these are a little off on their calculations is they don't always take into account if a city has like a minimum tax or a base tax or like an extra levy if they have like a rec levy, or some of them have like long-term care levies. So the number of properties in each class as we compare to other cities, we're pretty much middle of the range for all classes except agriculture. We are the lowest. We only have 5 properties, but all the others we're around like 7 or 8. So our general operating within the City of Weyburn is funded through tax revenue and grants, and our utility functions, they are funded by user fees that are collected. So that would be your utility bills, landfill fees, and we also apply for capital grants. So the city is funded by, the general operating is funded by property tax and grant in lieu. So we are budgeting just under 15 million. We're budgeting for just under 6 million for grant funding, and our fees and charges are just under 2 million, and investment and other income of 1.145 million, and a reserve funding for 532, for a total of 24,431,000. Our utility funds, we're looking at fees of just under 7.5 million, reserve funding of 240, and grant funding of 190,000. And our capital revenue, we are looking at having transfers from our operating of just under 1 million, reserve funding or internal loans of just under 2 million, and external funding of 5.7. It's total 8.6 million. So our total revenue that we're looking to bring in is 40,958,485. So our budget for our general operating fund, this is our expenses that we're budgeting. The operating budget is 24 million and the capital is 5,194,900. This includes capital for the pool of 3 million, for a total of 29,275,485. So we're budgeting to have transfers from reserves of 464, operating funded by reserves of 532, capital funded by reserves of 1.2 million, and our external loan for 2.5 for the pool planning. So what does this effect have on our taxes? So with this current, these current expenditures, our mill rate and base tax will increase by 6.1%. So that will generate $688,155 in revenue for our general fund and for our capital. And we've also budgeted for a recreation levy of $100 per property door, and that will generate $524,000 in revenue for our recreation facilities. So that's a total increase in taxation of just over 1.2 million, and that's 10.71% increase from last year in the taxation that we brought in. So this indicates the department and the increase or decrease in their funds. Our infrastructure revitalization program is seeing an increase of 370,000, which is 3.28% of our 6.1%. Public Works is 350,000, police 264, fires at 209, property sales 192, fleet 77, admin and finance 43. So leisure, parks, planning, engineering, and facilities are all actually seeing a decrease in their expenditures that would come from taxation. So tax dollar allocations, so where do your tax dollars go? Police services are 22.38%, facilities are 18.12%, admin and finance are 13.12%, Public Works 12.25, leisures at 7.14, fleets just under 6%, parks is 5.5, fire is 7.11. The IRP, which is the Infrastructure Revitalization Program, is 4.44, engineering at 2.63, and planning and development at 1.33. So the general operating fund, broken out, so our total revenue is just over 24 million. We've shown the expenditures for each department, what they've budgeted. So total is 24,080,585. So our surplus before capital is 572,950. The capital that we've budgeted for is 5,184,900, with proceeds on disposal of 110,000. So before financing, we're looking at a deficit of 4.5 million. With our financing, we'll have internal transfers for capital of 267,000. Transfers from reserves, 532. Transfers for the capital of 487, internal loan advances of 725, and our external loan of 2.5. So total financing of 4.511,950 to get us to a zero budget. That's within our general operating fund. So broken down, we have the general operating fund expenditures, so our wages and benefits are budgeted at 12.3 million. That makes up 51% of our expenditures. Maintenance, materials, and supplies are at 3.8 million. Professional contract services, 2.7. Utilities are 1.2. Our external loan payments are just under $1 million. Grants and contributions, 727,000. Our transfers to reserves for our capital is 680,000. Internal loan payments of 642,000. Interest payments of 306. Other is 305, and our internal transfers to the capital fund 267 to give us 24,080,585 in expenditures. So within our general capital fund, we have budgeted for the wildland fire truck replacement of 200,000 and a ladder truck down payment for 125. The Youngfellows Park is a carryover from last year of 200,000, and we have cemetery runners for 25,000. The leisure center planning for 3 million. The airport fog and crack sealing and taxiway repairs is 255,000. And within Public Works, we have asphalt for 750,000. The Public Works yard electric security fence for 30,000. Some bulk fuel tanks for 30,000. The storm sewer relining of 60,000. The Highway 39 culvert replacement of 282. And the storm water sanitary system remodeling for 50,000. Within our fleet, we've budgeted to purchase a 1-ton truck with a flat deck for 155,000 and a 15-inch rear deck mower for 32,000. So our total capital expenditures are 5,194,900. Okay, so then our utility fund. So this includes our utilities, our water and sewer, our water treatment plant, and our landfill. So within the water and sewer and the water treatment plant, we're budgeting 6.4 million, and our landfill is budgeted at 1.668 million, and our capital budget is 4,625,000 for a total budget of 12,693,000. We've budgeted for transfers to reserves of 1.6. Operating funded by reserves is 240, capital funded by reserves is 728, and we have an external loan budget for 3.2 million for the landfill. So a breakdown of our revenue and expenditures within the utility and landfill fund. We have total revenue of 7.8 million to come in, primarily most of our revenue is from fees and charges. Our expenditures are just over 8 million. So before capital, we have a $240,000 deficit. We've budgeted for equipment of 600,000, buildings 275, the water mains of 550, and land, which is the landfill project of 3.2 million. So our total capital is 4.6 million, and before financing, we are in a deficit of 4.865 million. So our financing is internal transfers for capital is just under 700,000. Transfers for reserves is 240. Our internal loan advances is 728, and our external loan is 3.2 for a total of 4.865. I'll add our transfer from reserve for operating. That's actually a carryover project from this year that we carried over to next year. So we actually don't have a deficit within our operating. Utility capital. So we have budgeted for water main replacements for 550, the lift station upgrades for 250, and the water treatment plant upgrades are 600,000. Phase 1 of the engineered cell is 3.2 million, and the leveling of the scale shack is 25,000 for a total of 4,625,000. All right, so each department, we've detailed out the costs that we have budgeted for. So within admin and finance, wages are budgeted at 1.7. I won't read each of these. So yeah, not much has changed from our preliminary. We've just detailed them out, which in the preliminary, we just gave a total. Police, they are sitting at 5.388 for costs. Fire is 1.7 with 325 for capital. Leisure services is 1.7. Parks is 1.3 million and 225,000 in capital. Facilities is 4.3 million and the capital of 3 million. Planning and development of 319,000. Engineering's at 633,000, capital of 255. Public works is just under 3 million and capital of 1.2. Fleet, so fleet's at 1.4 million and 187 in capital. Our IRP program is just over $1 million. Water and sewer within our utilities is just over 4 million and 800,000 in capital. Our water treatment plant is just over 2.3 million and 600,000 in capital. The landfill is 1.668 million and 3.225 million in capital. Okay, so how our taxes will be collected. So tax revenue from the mill rate will be 5.36% increase for general operations, and that is a total of $413,400 to come in. Our tax revenue from the base tax increase, that's for emergency services and snow removal, is $274,000 to come in. It's an increase of $65 on the base tax, so the base tax will now be at $910. And our tax revenue from our rec levy will be $524,000, and it's $100 per property door. Those give us a total of the $1.2 million. So the impact on a $300,000 assessed home that's taxed on $240,000 of that assessment, they will see a change in their municipal tax of $34. The base tax will increase by $65, and they will have a rec levy of $100 for a total of $199. Property tax or provincial education tax staying the same. We don't know what the province will have for their mill rate. Assuming it will stay the same, the total increase will be $199. And just some facts that we like to provide, the cost of our services that we provide. So for instance, Crescent Point Place in the sports arena, the cost to run that facility, including our facility costs and our admin costs on that facility, is a cost on the residents' taxes of $183 per year. Parks, it's $123. The Credit Union Spark Center is $75. The Weyburn Leisure Center is 22, the library costs 53, the airport costs about 70 cents, refuse collection $7, sidewalks and street repairs is $11, and tree pruning and inventory is $6.88. And that's the 2026 budget. It will be available once it is passed on our website.
Very good. Thank you very much. All right, that was, I appreciate your presentation. It was a lot, and I appreciate that you went through it quickly. There's lots to be discussed yet. So first off, I think I would entertain a motion to approve that budget as presented.
Your Worship, I'll make the motion that the 2026 City of Weyburn budget be accepted as presented.
Thank you.
I will second that motion.
Thank you. All right, so let's just start with questions for the Director of Finance or any of the department heads that are here tonight. Who's got the first question? Councillor Hayes.
Just sort of when you're going through your presentation, under facilities, you show a reduction in the budget, but that's operational, right? There's still lots of capital expenditures within the facilities?
Be more specific. Do you mean?
You had a reduction of 800 and some thousand?
In facilities?
Yeah, sorry, or we got the wrong one. I just assumed I didn't go back to it.
I'll have to find it.
I didn't mark the page.
Page 12.
Thank you.
Sorry, I don't have the pages.
Your effect on taxation.
Right there.
So this would be their net effect, so their revenue and expenses. That would primarily be because of, I'm guessing it's because of the roof replacements and some work that we did this year on the facilities, but we don't have those next year.
Okay, thank you.
That makes sense? Yep. Next question. Councillor Janke.
I believe this question is more for the Director of Engineering, but just in terms of the numbers around the landfill, are we comfortable that the usable life of said landfill is compatible with the budget, in so much as are we going to find ourselves in a situation where we're at the end of that life and wish we had budgeted differently decades before? I know it's a hard question to answer, but.
Oh, I appreciate your question. The budget for the capital cost for the 3.5 million is just one stage out of 9 future stages that will extend the landfill's life expectancy for another 50 plus years. And without starting that staged or phased expansion and investment, we're probably only looking at less than 20 years, like maybe 15 years before we've reached capacity and just ran out of airspace. So I believe the answer is yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's an excellent answer. I would have been happy with a yes. That was fantastic.
Oh, okay,
Thank you.
great. Perfect.
Councillor Morissette.
Thank you, Your Worship. Director Missal, for the recreation levy, we aren't the only city to have a levy for recreation or a library or something like that, correct?
Oops. No, yeah, that's correct. There's many, I'm pretty sure. The Yorkton has a rec levy. I can't think of them off the top of my head. Swift Current, they just implemented one. Pardon? Yorkton, yeah. I have a list somewhere, I could look at it, but Yeah, there's, some have various like levies, some do it for like a business development levy, or like for their, pardon?
Library levies?
Library levies, so yeah, it just kind of depends.
I was just doing a quick poll of a bunch of the other cities, 15.6% in Regina just to maintain the services. So compared to them, we're doing fairly well here in Weyburn.
I would agree.
Councillor Bador?
Just a couple comments I've had from citizens. I guess two things. With rental properties, as I understand it, that they cannot move that rent up for a year, have to give their tenants notice for a year. I've a couple have a little concern with recreational levy going on those properties right away. They can't kind of pass that on, which we normally do, and I don't know if that's something we'd look at to delay that for them, but that's maybe past the fact. Second comment I wanted to make was, generally, talking to a lot of people, no one's happy about a tax increase, but I think overall people understand that we have to maintain the services, to, I would say, catch up and keep going forward. We need to make these big steps, and it's tough, but I'm a big proponent of moving forward.
Okay. Good commentary. Councillor Janke?
I have a question for the Director of Finance. And Laura, I apologize for this question because I already know the answer to it. And when it's put to me in public, I give the correct answer to it, I assure you. But in the interest of hearing it from you, we're very confident in the accuracy of these numbers, and we have an audit every year, and we're never particularly concerned that anything's going to come out of that audit that is irregular. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. Good. Councillor Sidlowski?
Yeah, I would just like to build on Councillor Bador's comments. I know that this is a large number for people. I think I have small kids at home. We all have families. These aren't easy decisions to be made, but I think council as a whole is really focused on trying to make gains, make some long-term plans, and strive to complete some things that haven't been completed. So I know it's not an easy number to see or hear, but we hope that we will be able to show results that come from it.
Yeah, appreciate that commentary. If there's nothing else, I have a few questions, and not so much, some questions, some commentary. And just to kind of further to what both councillors were just saying about getting things done, to the Director of Engineering, I know that you had a lot of pressure from council last year to get some asphalt down and get lots of it done, and you did that, and thank you very much. And I've heard, the theme that I've heard from residents is, great job, keep it up. So, and I think that speaks to, that costs money though, lots of money. So is it your estimation that next year we would see, with the exception of, you know, I get that Highway 35 North, that was a partnership, sorry, with the province. But inside the city limits, would we see a similar volume of work in 2026 to what we've seen in 2025?
So, similar for our IRP program. So 2025, there was a large portion of our in-city limits paving on King Street between First Ave and Fifth Ave that was actually through Urban Highway Connector program.
Right.
So not including that, not counting that, the rest will be similar. So it will be similar to the 5 blocks we did on Fifth Avenue. We did apply for additional Urban Highway Connector funding for Government Road. So if we are successful in receiving funding for that, then we will be similar, if not exceeding a little bit from what we did in 2025. Otherwise, yeah.
I appreciate that, because I hear that often. That's a theme that I hear from people in town, so I appreciate that. I just want to make sure that we all understand. I know I, kind of like Councillor Janke, I answer lots of questions. I'm largely sure that I'm right when I answer them in the public. As a city, we are not allowed to table anything but a balanced budget. We cannot table a deficit budget like the province can. So that is why we have to go to the external markets for help to balance that. In this year specifically, landfill and pool capital, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Right. And then the final piece I would just want to comment on, even with this increase, which, you know, the $100 a year levy plus 6.1% across the board, for the average home, you noted in here $16.58 a month. Is my math? Councillor Van Betje's not here anymore to correct my math, but I think that's pretty accurate.
I think so, yeah.
That's what people would end up with. So I feel good about that. Well, I don't feel good about it. Nobody feels good about that, but I just want to make sure my math was right. The last thing I want to just highlight was this council, besides getting some infrastructure work done, also put a high priority on economic development and getting that number up, our non-residential tax base increased. I just want, thank you for your work on what some other communities have. There are a couple of communities I just took a quick look at. Estevan with 578 non-residential properties, North Battleford 541 non-residential properties, Weyburn is 377. So that is a deficit that I think we can focus on and that we can prioritize, because that's good tax revenue for us. So I just wanted to highlight that. Thank you for putting it in your report. And although whoever said it, nobody loves a tax increase, I think everybody's understanding of why it's happening. If there's nothing else, then I will call for the vote. Okay. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much. That was lots of work, and we appreciate that. All of administration. That was a lot of work, and I appreciate it. All right. Let's go on to inquiries and announcements. Who'd like to start? Anybody? I can start. Okay. Thanks, Councillor Higgs. Earlier today, we had an event at the Spark Centre. It was the announcement of the 2028 Saskatchewan Summer Games. And the announcement was that Weyburn would be hosting the 2028 Saskatchewan Summer Games. So that is a great feather in our cap as a community. Just a couple of things. That brings over nearly 7,000 people estimated to bring to our community for that week. That is filling our hotels, that's filling our restaurants, that's lots of fuel, lots of everything. That is good for our community economically, it's good for our community socially. We get to show off a little bit, show some of our amenities and how great Weyburn is and that Weyburn spirit. So I think that is a very good thing for our community as well. Also, I think it's important to note that they estimate about a $7 million economic impact to the city of Weyburn for that event. So that is very big. The last time that we hosted these games was 2004, and the legacy project from that is that paved track beside the comp that is in use today. So there is great things that will come out of that. I believe it's a $500,000 shot in the arm for us right out of the gate, and then more to come after that. So kudos to Weyburn for that. We've got lots of work to do to get ready, so I'm very excited. I wanted to stop and thank the Director of Leisure Services, Richard Henning, for all of your work, your leadership, your team's work on getting this bid in, getting it submitted, and for us being successful in doing that. So thank you, and all of administration that worked on that very much. That was a very cool day for us, so thank you very much. Yeah. There, now that I've taken up all the air in the room, anybody else? Councillor Sedlowski.
I thought I would share that the holiday train will be making a stop in Weyburn on December 19th.
Right.
They will have Lanco and Tierra Kennedy performing, and I believe it's at 5:45 that it should stop through.
Now, I'd heard that you may be doing a solo at that event, some singing?
No, nobody wants to hear me sing.
Well, I
but
don't know. I think if folks
will.
wanted to, let us know. We can convince Councillor Sedlowski as a community-thon fundraiser.
No, but I will bring greetings on behalf of the city as Deputy Mayor.
Your Worship, I move that Deputy Mayor Sedlowski sing at the holiday train event.
Thank you. All in favor? Ah, perfect. Good. Don't worry, I didn't get a seconder, so it's not legit. Anybody else? Oh, sorry, Councillor Jank.
I have an inquiry for Councillor Bador. Since the young fellows were here today, I thought I would quiz you. Are there any Christmas trees left? Can people in Weyburn still get a tree?
As I understand it, we are sold out of one kind. I'm not 100% sure of what kind it is, but we have a few left, but every day they're selling.
Good. All right. If that is it, oh, Councillor Morissette.
I'm going to steal your thunder,
You should.
Mayor Richards. Just on behalf of council and administration, thank you to the citizens of Weyburn for a very awesome 2025, and we wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a happy and safe holiday season.
Well said.
Maybe you should sing us a Christmas carol
No, there's,
to
in no,
adjourn the meeting.
there's no circumstance under which that would happen.
Your worship, I move that.
No, sorry, you already got your free one. Anybody else? Youth Council, anything to ask for? No, no Christmas wishes? That I'd stop singling you out? That's your Christmas wish? Yeah, okay. Administration, anything to convey? No. Well, with that, we would wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a safe and prosperous New Year, and we'll see you on January 13th.
If you'd like to share your feedback on the program you just watched, contact us today